Alberts, and welcome to another day in the life with me, and today with the iPhone 7 in 2024. So let's talk about the iPhone 7 real quick. Back in 2016, this was the first iPhone to not include the headphone jack and included the haptic touch engine instead. It was a pretty polarizing decision for Apple at the time, but now in 2024, pretty much no device comes with a headphone jack unless you're looking at a pretty niche device. The iPhone 7 was a pretty standard upgrade from the iPhone 6s, and there wasn't too much differences going into the iPhone 7. But in 2024, this thing is dirt cheap, so if you're really interested in looking at buying one of these, then this video is for you. So just a few things about this iPhone 7. This was my mom's old iPhone, and it's had a pretty hard life. So we have had the screen replaced, the battery replaced, and I also ruined the home button while trying to replace the battery myself. So the home button doesn't work, we don't have any Touch ID, I'm just using the assistive touch on the screen, but at least we have a slightly newer battery which has a battery health of 89%, and it should be a pretty good indicator for some of you who are looking at buying a used iPhone 7. So it's currently 932, our battery percentage is at 92%. I'm going to be keeping down a battery indicator on the bottom of the screen so you guys can see how the iPhone 7 does. And before we continue, I'm just going to quickly talk about Nanoleaf. So if you've been watching a lot of my videos, you might have seen that I have had these panels on the side of my wall for pretty much every single video that I've filmed so far. And these are from Nanoleaf, a smart home company, and they've been kind enough to send me out a couple more products. This is not sponsored, but they did give me these products for free so I can show them in my videos. So they gave me the lines kit, which comes with a set of 9 lines that you can pretty much arrange into anything that you want, any design. It looks really cool, and as you can see on the back of my wall, I have a nice fish design. And they also gave me the 4D kit, which is perfect for monitors and TVs. It basically tracks whatever's on your screen and gives you this 4D look, mimicking the colors on the screen and giving you a bigger splash of colors around you. So thanks again to Nanoleaf for sending these out, and if you want to check them out, you can check the link in my description to find out more about Nanoleaf. Alright, so I'm about to head off on a 3-day spring retreat, and I have not packed. My friend is about to pick me up in an hour and a half. Let's get to packing. Okay, I think I have packed everything. So I think I packed up a bit quicker than I thought I would take initially. So I do have some time. It's currently 10:26 and our battery percentage is 81%. Let's talk about performance before I leave. Alright, so let's talk about performance on the iPhone 7. So the iPhone 7 is equipped with the A10 Fusion Chip, which was a pretty big deal back in 2016 because it was the first quad-core chip that Apple had designed that was going into a smartphone. And that A10 Fusion chip is the same reason why the iPhone 7's performance was pretty much top tier for a very long time. Now obviously this is an 8-year-old phone, so we can't expect too much out of the performance here, but I must say I'm pretty impressed at the fact that you can pretty much run any modern smartphone app in 2024. This includes Instagram, YouTube, Notion, Spotify. Everything actually installs and runs on the iPhone 7, although some apps do require you to download an older version as it no longer supports this OS on here. The iPhone 7 is locked at iOS 15, so we won't be able to get any other updates apart from that. But actually using the phone, the general usage is pretty decent. Although we do get some bugs and lags, and I have had a few apps stutter, crash here and there, and if you do multitask and switch between 2 different apps and go back to the same app you're using before just a second ago, it will most likely relaunch pretty consistently. But then when we turn to gaming, it can actually run Genshin Impact at lower settings pretty smoothly, although it does overheat quite quickly. And I think the reason why it overheats is because it is relying more on those performance cores to keep the performance up to par in 2024, and it doesn't really use any of those efficiency cores because they're just not fast enough to run any modern day applications without stuttering. But overall, I'm pretty impressed that it can still run most modern day applications, and even for an 8-year-old phone, I still think that this phone might actually have better performance than some of the lower end budget phones that you can buy today, such as the Samsung A05 or the Oppo A18, which come with those really bad MediaTek Helio G99s. So I think that the performance here is still snappier than those phones. Alright, so that's it for performance. I'm gonna wait for my friend to come and pick me up. I'll talk to you guys soon. My YouTube channel. What's up?
Toby's YouTube channel. Welcome to Upwards. Here we're on our way to spring retreat for student life.
The iPhone 7's display is largely unchanged from the initial iPhone 6.
A 4.7-inch LCD that doesn't get too bright and looks very old school. But honestly, it makes it super easy to use, especially with one hand. Unfortunately, the replacement display for this phone was a third party and doesn't quite have the same contrast or colors as the original. But in general, the iPhone 7's display is pretty bad and it's not even HD quality either. Hello! We have made it safe and sound. Okay, so we have finally made it. It's currently 127. Battery percentage is at 20%. I'm not sure it's gonna last any much longer. Hopefully we'll get through a couple more hours, but it's not looking too hopeful here. Anyway, we're all gonna get set up for the next couple days. Okay, let's try to take some photos with the camera system on the iPhone 7. So we got a 12 megapixel sensor on the back and a 7 megapixel sensor on the front. Let's see how they take some photos in 2024. The iPhone 7's cameras aren't the greatest in 2024, with less contrast and dynamic range than the latest iPhones, but it gives off this nostalgic, slightly vintage digital look that is rather charming. Colors are slightly washed, but surprisingly we still have some good details in these photos. Selfie-wise, we only have a 7 megapixel shooter that manages to get my friends out of focus. Videos can be shot up to 4K 30 and it also has that same washed digital look, but are still quite sharp and detailed, depending on the lighting. Overall, even though the cameras aren't great anymore, they still shoot exceptionally quick as expected on an iPhone, and potentially we could see a trend for old iPhone photos. Maybe there could be a revival like the digital camera comeback.
Get me out of love, yeah. Call me when you're wrong. Sunshine on my door, yeah. Nowhere let you go. I just need to stay alone, yeah. I need to stay alone. I've been on my own, yeah. I've been on my own. I know, you know, I changed a lot. The sunshine on my eyes. It's been so good.
So before we continue, I thought we wanted to talk about why we're in the middle of here. So the real reason why we're all here is because of Jesus. This whole spring retreat is all about learning and growing more in our relationship with God and to learn more about Jesus. And why do we believe this? Well, it's pretty simple. It all starts with God, who loves and created us to have a relationship with Him. But because of our own selfish desires and actions, we have actually broken that relationship with God through what the Bible calls a sin. Anything that is centering ourselves around anything outside of God is what the Bible calls sin. Anything that has to do with hurting other people, rejecting God, or just simply not doing His will. But that leads us to the solution, which is that God loves us so much that He gave His one and only Son, Jesus, to die in our place, because we actually deserve to die as a consequence of our relationship being broken with God. Jesus took that punishment on Himself so that we could have eternal life and that we could have a restored relationship with God. And that's what God has done for us. And that's why we're all here, a retreat away to learn and to just take time to grow closer to God. If you want to learn more about what the good news is, what Christianity is all about, I'll leave another link in the description. Alright, so it's currently 4:27, our battery percentage is at 2%. The phone is about to die soon, so let's head in and talk about my final thoughts on the iPhone 7. Alright, so it is now 4:45 and the iPhone 7 has officially died. So let's talk about the iPhone 7 and how it did throughout the day. So I did have a quick look at the battery performance before it died, just because I knew it was going to die anyway, and we had a screen time of 1 hour and 40 minutes, which is pretty bad, and this is the first time an iPhone or any phone has actually died on me during a day in the life. And I do think that the cause of the battery drain on here has to do with the fact that when I was playing Genshin Impact, it drained 10% of the battery, and also, I think it's just using more performance cores just to do pretty much all the same tasks that an efficiency core would usually do, which also drains a lot of the battery power. So I think it's pretty clear from here that if you're looking at getting an iPhone 7 2024, just have to be aware that the battery performance is probably not going to be great, especially when it requires more power in order to do the same tasks that more modern phones can do without using the performance cores. But otherwise, I'm actually pretty impressed with the performance on the iPhone 7. Running all the apps that I use pretty much every day without too much lag or stutters here and there, it's actually pretty good, considering that this is an 8-year-old phone. It can run pretty much any modern app in 2024 without any issues, and it can even play Genshin Impact at 30 FPS in the lowest settings, reasonably well. Now, it did warm up quite significantly throughout the day, and I did notice that there was a lot of times where the phone was quite warm and feeling to get a bit more hotter. So definitely trying to keep up the performance has taken its toll on the iPhone 7. Display-wise, it's pretty old, the design is pretty old as well. And turning to the cameras, the iPhone 7 does have a 12 megapixel sensor, which isn't the greatest in today's day and age, but it does give that vintage look that I think might become popular maybe in the next few years. So there are some my day in the life with the iPhone 7. It's been a pretty cool device, but the battery performance just isn't it. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm Upwards. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys in the next video.